Hey, I want to share something today I'm really excited about. So, maybe 6 weeks ago, I was getting back from my morning walk, and just as I'm coming up to the door, this image of Jesus washing the disciples' feet flashes through my mind. You know, it was the Last Supper, the Thursday before Good Friday, his crucifixion, and then his, resurrection on Resurrection Sunday, or Easter as it's called. So, this goes through my mind, and I'm like, oh, what does this mean? What does this mean, God? And I start thinking, man, maybe I'm supposed to start washing people's feet, you know? And then I'm like, oh, that's weird. I don't want to do that. But if that's what God's telling me to do, maybe it's gonna, spark a revival. And oh my gosh, what would I do? Like go door to door? Would I just set out on a street corner, with a bucket of water and towels and stuff? And anyway, I was all tied up in knots. And I was able to just take a step back and go, okay, wait a minute. This feels very familiar and very ugly, like a religious OCD loop, oh, I think God may want me to do something weird. I don't want to, but I better, and I better just in case. And I said, okay, no, let's just assume, God forgive me if I'm wrong and I'm just wimping out, but I'm just going to assume that's not what he's asking me to do. And so then as I, calmed down and I started reflecting on, that event. And, in Jesus's day, people didn't have shoes, they had sandals. And it wasn't asphalt roads, it was dirt roads with donkey manure and all that kind of stuff. And so it was very important, hygiene-wise, that you washed your feet regularly. And so that was Jewish rule or, tradition. You wash your feet when you came inside. And, feet were so disgusting then, it was illegal to have a slave wash your feet. So, just think about that. Jesus, King of the universe, getting down on his knees and washing people's feet when you couldn't make a slave do that. So as I was thinking about it, the phrase humble service just came to mind. And I thought, yeah, humble service. That sounds beautiful, And I was like, okay, how can I humbly serve? And what I came to was, my morning walks, hey, let me just pick up some of the litter while I'm going around the roadside or down, the paths in the park down by the river. And, at first I felt like self-conscious and weird and what will people think? But it wasn't that bad. I'm getting more used to just, being comfortable doing stuff that maybe is a little out of the ordinary. So I started doing it, and I was careful not to get OCD-ish about it. I don't have to pick up every piece of trash every day or anything like that. If I feel like it, great. And, if I don't, okay. And, I got more comfortable with it. And I got to tell you, it was so healing. I just felt so light. I felt like, hey, I've got the people in the community that I live with here, and they've got all the stresses of life, making ends meet, growing up, raising kids, all bills, all that kind of stuff, car breakdowns or whatever. And I'm doing something to support them, to serve them. Something really small. And, in some ways, that's all I can do is something small. But, I'm doing it, and somehow it counts. And it just feels so beautiful. And then I went through a little phase where I was like, oh man, these people keep throwing trash out the window. I'm feeling judgmental and angry and bitter and overwhelmed because I can't keep up with it all and I'm supposed to. And it's like, okay, wait a minute. We're getting away from what this was all about. And again, if someone's throwing trash out the car, maybe they don't know better. Maybe they're all wrapped up in their world. Whatever it is, we're all got our struggles. And, I could be like, I just could say a little prayer for whoever threw this out their window, right? God bless them. God be with them. Especially when it's empty beer cans or little brandy plastic flask. You're like, oh man, God be with them. And everybody else driving around them or whatever. So anyway, it just kind of got me back into this good space of like, I'm out enjoying God's beautiful creation and walking and using my body, which is fearfully and wonderfully made. And oh, look, here, let me pick that up and put it in my white trash bag. That'll make the roadside look a little nicer. And, it's just a little way to contribute, to give back, to offer humble service. And again, it's just been so freeing and delightful and healing. It just helps me feel so light. I don't know, like, any feeling of like I have to save the world or fix all the problems or, oh, what's happening in our culture or, any of kind of this kind of stuff. It just kind of helps. It just falls off. And you're like, hey, I'm just one person here. Yeah, in Christ, I can do things that are impactful, but, at the end, I'm just one person. And, here, let me just pick up a little trash on my walk. I can't do much, but let me just do it.